Coach Abel here, along with the world champ, Kevin the Machine Weiss, the Abel Body Experts, and we're talking about Kevin's journey, or part of the journey to the World Championships, and where he shattered a whole bunch of Canadian records and broke 2 world records in the raw powerlifting, drug-free powerlifting, something I can respect on every front. But I want to sort of get behind that. The results are fine and outcomes are great, and that's what everyone sort of lights up to, but I want to get behind that. And for anyone that's interested, you can go back to our Coffee with the Coaches segment from the summer. We'll call this segment Mindset of a Champion. I'm probably embarrassing for you, but that's what I'm going to call it. And I remember, this was after your shows in the spring or summer, Kevin, where you went in, you won those shows, which qualified you for the World Championships. And I remember sitting and we were chatting, and so you told me the World Championships were now like 5 or 6 months away in October in Florida. So I asked you about it, and the first thing you said to me is, you said, I'm pretty sure I can break a couple world records. And that, as a coach, that struck me as important, because it's not what I hear in the typical client. You weren't talking about winning. You weren't talking about beating somebody. You know, what you did talk about was a visualization that you already had something in mind that you could accomplish realistically, that was beyond what you've already done, but still realistic. And it wasn't about external things like, well, I think I can win the World Championships. And you never once said that. What you did say was, I think I have a chance to break a couple world records. And I found that real intriguing, because I try to instill that kind of thinking in my clients all the time, and they don't get it. It's all about outcomes, whether it's losing 20 pounds of body fat or something else. They don't think in those terms. So I just wondered if you expound upon that a little bit. I know I'm throwing this at you. We never rehearse these, folks. But that's what struck me way back in the spring or summer when you won the first shows. And when we projected down the road to the fall, the first thing you said wasn't about winning, wasn't about beating anyone, wasn't about how am I going to do it. You never once said to me, oh, I don't know how I'm going to do it, it's a world championship. The first things you said were, I think I can break a couple world records, I'm close. And I just want you to talk about that a little bit for people that don't understand the level of thinking that goes into performing.
Okay, well, the first thing definitely that went into that process was actually knowing what that level was, right? Like, essentially setting a realistic goal, knowing this is what the world record is set at right now, and being able to judge whether that's within reach you. Some of the other world records,
based on what you're already doing.
Yeah. Some of the other world records, I would like to go after a couple of those too, but I knew I didn't have the chance to do it this time.
Right.
Possibly, depending on how things go, those records might be in reach in the future, but I knew at this time that they weren't. So having a realistic expectation of what you can achieve in the time that you're given is a huge part of that, obviously.
Okay.
So.
And the I know, now I'm just throwing this at you, but what struck me again, one of the reasons we're even friends, was that you never used the word winning. You never said, I think I can win the World Championships. You talked about the world records. I guess maybe assuming that if you took care of that, then you took care of winning. But I get so many people are focused on outcome or this victory aspect of it that they kind of miss the point. So that's what I'm trying to drive at here. Then anything you can add to that?
Well, the biggest thing with that is none of that was in my control, whether I could win the World Championships or not. I had no idea who I'd be competing against, what they would do. I only knew, the only things I knew for a fact was, this is what the world records are. And I didn't know for a fact, but I had pretty good control of what I could do. So basically, I planned to make it to a certain level, and then you got to carry that plan out when you get there. And then, after that's all said and done, you're going to fall where you fall, right? If someone else had come there and
someone else could have broke world records.
Someone could have broke all those world records, and lifted 30 kilos more than me or more, and that wouldn't have changed the plan that I would have done.
I think that we stop right there, because that's the whole idea. That's what I'm talking about. That preparation within yourself
Yeah, like my plan was already set well before I was at the World Championships.
And it wasn't about who was coming
No.
and who was competing and who lifted what in some other contest that was going to be there.
Or who even lifted what on that day. Like, I actually didn't even know that I had won my weight class until I had completely finished all my lifts. I didn't know what my total was. I didn't know how much. And it ended up, I was only 2.5 kilograms total over the 3 lifts over another great Canadian lifter that was doing very well that day too. And we were that close, but neither one of us knew it.
And that's a testament to the results are a testament to the preparation, is what you're talking about. You didn't go there with the first place results in mind. You prepared for a specific outcome that was realistic for you to meet, and then let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, pretty much the first place could have been a 5th place depending on other people's outcomes. I knew what my outcome or what my result needed to be, and that the most important thing was that I didn't let what someone else on that day was doing affect my planning coming into it.
Another awesome point, and that's true whether you're losing weight or competing in a physique competition or what you just said. So it's gotta maintain within yourself, perform within yourself, and then outperform yourself is what we're getting at. And that's what I wanted to do inside the mindset of a champion, world champion, 2 world records, 5 or 6 Canadian records. Hopefully this is benefit to some of you people, and as I like to say, some of you will get it and some of you won't.